Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of MSATP TV. This is our Lunch and Learn series with Rob Smith. Rob's here to talk to us about all the things that Office 365 has to offer. And Rob is with Liscio, and they are document communication people. And so, Rob, why don't you take it away? Tell us a little bit about what you're going to teach today.
Okay. Well, today we're going to talk about one of the other many programs in Microsoft 365, and this is Microsoft Lists. And explaining what it is in a little bit, but we're going to talk about how you're going to be able to manage all of your clients and what you're doing for them, and just being able to get a better grip on your client base. You may be doing that in Excel. You may be doing that on paper. You may not be doing it all, but we're going to show you how you can use Microsoft Lists to make this job a lot easier. And then once you learn it for yourself, you're going to find that you're going to be able to take this skill set and take it to your clients and start creating lists for them to manage their stuff. So yeah, it's a pretty cool program that's included in Microsoft 365. And then we're going to kind of talk about, now that tax season
is over. So this is included with 365.
Yep,
it's not an
one
add-on.
of the many tools. Yes, one of the many tools that you get when you subscribe to Microsoft 365. And then we're going to kind of, and then we're also going to kind of talk about where we've been, some of the past shows that we've had, just kind of catch you up because you've been in the middle of tax season, to show you what we've been talking about while you were busy doing taxes. And then we're going to kind of wrap up today where I want to get you thinking about what you're going to do the rest of the year to make 2022, put a little bit of time and effort into what you're going to do looking forward to make 2023 and beyond even better.
Okay. So
once again, yes, like Bill said, my name is Rob Smith. I'm working at Liscio. I used to be a CPA. I ran my own firm for a number of years. Had my own firm, merged into it, bought a couple of firms, and all along I just kept improving the processes and making it easier, and became more scalable as I was able to take the information in my head and put it into my staff. And that's really is what enabled me to basically do that. And then once I kind of did that for my own firm, now I'm out here trying to help other accountants do the same thing, where we got to get the knowledge out of our head, because that's not knowledge, that's chaos. Get it into our staff, and then that way, that's how we're going to be able to delegate and scale.
Okay.
But once again, yeah, I work at Liscio now, and we basically are pretty much, if you want to communicate with your clients, you can use our app and our website to consolidate all of the communication, whether it's documents, messages, task management, e-docs, whatever, with your clients through Liscio. But we're here to learn 365, so let's get started. So like I said, this is the agenda. Let's talk about some prior lunch and learns. We'll hop into lists, actually get a real good demo of it. Bill and I are actually going to build one up from scratch. And then we're going to talk about what we're going to do for the rest of 2022, your tech focus. So these are the videos that we've basically done so far in our lunch and learn. We kind of started off with some OneNote discussions of what you could basically do. We actually have talked about Microsoft Lists before, where we actually went in and helped set up a step-by-step 1040 return tracker. But we're going to kind of circle around because Lists is really powerful and you can do a lot of stuff with it. Then we talked about the OneNote ecosystem, how you need to go in there and actually set up OneNote and the ecosystem to make sure that OneNote's working properly. We then talked about how Outlook and OneNote integrate together so you can better manage your emails, your meetings, and your contacts. So instead of keeping everything in Outlook, you can kind of coordinate the two and really basically create kind of a super Rolodex and a great place for your meeting notes and really liberate the stuff that's sitting in Outlook. Then we talked about Microsoft To Do, which is basically how you can manage your personal tasks, which is kind of sitting inside of OneNote. Inside of Outlook. But To Do is a way to really manage your personal individual tasks that you need to do for yourself. Microsoft Planner, which is another app, is how you can assign stuff to your teammates, but we'll talk about that in the upcoming series. And then we got into Microsoft Teams and kind of an introduction of Microsoft Teams, because it seems like people are starting to get into Teams, but right now they're just using it as Zoom, and it's so much more. And then last week we talked about files in both Teams and 365 and all the power of that. But basically with the stuff we've kind of talked about, Bill, what's kind of stood out for you?
Well, I thought the Teams thing that you were talking about, because I've always known that Teams is more powerful than just a chat session.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been able to figure out, because I didn't devote the time and everything that was necessary to do it, to learn about teams and how much more powerful it is. And you did that one slide where you had the building and
This
the
one
floors.
right here.
There you go. And each floor is a team, and then within the team you have channels, and those are the rooms on that floor and everything. And it hit me the way it expanded it and showed me what it is.
Yeah, no, and if that's and to me, I've been kind of struggling with it, and when I kind of rolled across this analogy, it makes a lot of sense to me too. Basically, your entire 365 is a building, and you can have as many floors as you need, and invite whoever you want to that floor, whether it's internal based, whether it's client based, whatever you basically need, you can create the own floor, and then when you get that floor, you can have different rooms for topics. So, for example, a bookkeeping department inside a building,
Right.
Bookkeeping department could have AR, AP, payroll, HR, whatever, right? And that's where you do the work. Yeah, we could have a room for all 1040s. Every client gets their own room, and when you need to work on that client, you go to that room, and everything about that client is in that one room. So that's what's really excited. And what's nice about this, you can also have private.
And you can make them private so that you can limit access to who can get in there. So, your room with payroll, you could have it just limited to, the manager and the bookkeeper or whatever.
Yep, that's exactly right. So no, I was really excited when this analogy helped you finally get that, because the last couple of weeks I've seen you, Bill, it seems like I could see it clicking in your head, like, okay, ooh, Bill, you're getting it. I mean, and that was really exciting. That was really exciting to see. So I'm glad that analogy helped you out. So hopefully it helped other people too. Excellent. Okay. But let's hop into Microsoft Lists. Okay. Because that's kind of what we're here to talk about today. So what is Microsoft Lists? First of all, it's essentially a flat database. It's just like Excel. So if you have any sort of list in Excel, chances are you're going to want to move it to Microsoft Lists. Okay. Because it's basically Excel on steroids. Okay. First of all, if you look right over here, you see like right over here, this kind of looks like Excel, doesn't it? It's got rows and columns, right? It's got rows and columns, but it can hold so much more than just text. Now, it can hold so much more than just text. And guess what? It's got a mobile app. You can come in here and actually add and look up information from your phone.
Wow.
Yeah. And you're going to find that the amount of functionality this has, whether it's a client visitor log, whether it's a warehouse tickler system, whether it's an equipment list, a vehicle list, there are so many uses for Microsoft Lists. It's crazy. Once you start to learn it for your internally, you're going to be able to take this to your clients and roll out some of these lists with them and convert that Excel file into a list and completely change their world in an afternoon. What's so special about it? Well, you're going to be able to create your own custom columns with your own content options. It's got pictures. It can be text. It can be people. It can be dates. It can be a lot of different types of information and the custom drop downs. And you've also got custom views. So for example, if you go in and you filter, if we're doing 1040 tracking, Bill, you want to look at just your clients, right? You don't want to see everybody else's. You want to look at your clients. But if you go in there and filter that Excel, you just messed it up for everybody else, didn't you?
Right.
Well, in the new 365, they kind of have a way to kind of do that, but that's advanced Excel. But generally speaking, you can't really have it. It's not like Burger King. You can't have it your way, right?
Right.
No, it's just the way it is. But inside Microsoft Lists, you can create a custom view. So when you go in there and we're looking at like the 1040 clients, you're going to see just your clients the way you want to see them. Okay. And I can do the same thing. We're looking at the same data, but you got your view and I've got my view, which is really, really cool. Now, where is it? Once again, it's in the online browser. You can embed it in Teams or it's got a mobile app. So it's pretty much anywhere you're working, you're going to be able to access Microsoft Lists. How do you do it? All you do is go to Microsoft 365 and then click on the list button right there. Okay. Log into 365. You've got all these different options and click on Microsoft Lists. Then you've got one of four options. You can either come in here and create a blank list from scratch, is what we're going to do in just a minute. If you've got an Excel document already with all your information in it, just what? Upload it and then, adjust the columns and you're good to go. So if you've already got an Excel, try this button right here. It's super simple. Okay.
Okay.
Also from an existing list. If you have a list that you use the same list like over and over again, let's say you've got a big list of everything you need to do for an event. You could create that in Microsoft Lists and then just create that same list over and over and over again.
Okay.
Okay. And then we've got templates. So down here, Microsoft already has a bunch of templates: issue tracker, employee onboarding, event itinerary, an asset manager, travel requests. Okay. So if you want to basically get travel request approval, all right there. Content scheduler. Okay. Content scheduler, that may be a list you guys want to look at to when you're doing your conferences and managing all of the other education and stuff that you have. But all this stuff can kind of be tracked in Microsoft Lists. Okay. So let's actually hop right into it and see basically what we've got. So right inside here are a couple lists that I've already got set up. One, we talked about this, and there's a previous video on this one right here that you can go look and see how we basically did that, but it's a 1040 tracker. So this right here, you see how this right here, it's got rows and columns, right?
Right.
It's just like Excel.
Just like Excel.
It's like I've got client, I've got the status of the return for this year, whether we're waiting on information, data entry rolled over, whatever, who the contact is, who the partner is, who the staff is, email, phone, do they have estimates, yes or no, and any other column. You see there says plus column right here?
Right.
Or add columns.
So
we can add columns. We want. So let's go in here and see how simple it is to go in here. So we can actually come in here, go 2021, and say group by 2021. Here's everything where we're in the entry mode. Here's where we're in the review mode. Here's the stuff that still hasn't been rolled over. Okay. If we haven't rolled this, if we haven't rolled these over, then after taxes, this is pre-tax season, Bill. This is
right.
Yeah, we're not quite into this one. Or we're waiting on information. But look how easily we can group our people in there. Or instead of grouping it, we're going to be able to come in here and filter on it. You know what? I want to come in and say, hey, I need to call all the people that I'm waiting on information, right? So I can actually come in here, click filter, and say, show me everybody that I'm waiting on info.
Okay.
And apply that, and then that shows me everybody that's right there that I'm waiting on information. There's the contact. There's their phone and email. Boom, I've contacted them.
Okay. Where it says waiting on info, how would you change that?
Oh, if I were to change it, I can just go right into their card. Right here, we've got this card right here. Now, let's say they called up and they gave me the information.
Right.
Now I'm back into entry. I just click it like this, click off it, and then voila, it's changed. That's simple.
That cool. Yep.
Yep. It's just like changing the drop down in Excel, because really, when you come in here, and if I were to come in here and add a new item, I can come in here, put the status, put their name, everything right inside there. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, that right there is a simple 1040 tracker list. We've also got the, for example, a business return tracker list. This is for business returns. Okay. Once again, the status for the year. This one's got notes, preparer, whether or not it's been extended with conditional formatting. So if it's marked extended, it's going to basically make sure that there's a date right there. It kind of highlights it to say, hey, look, it's been extended, but what's the extension date? Okay, tax type, year end, due date, whether we do 1099s, annual report, shareholder health, or do we do planning? This right here is required information, so we need to get something in there. Okay, this was kind of added after the fact. Okay, but you can see how we can come in here and have a bunch of different types of lists. Managing sales tax exemptions, company, the company number, the status of it, the expiration date, the date you obtained it, and what state it is. Could you imagine having all this information right here, and you can even upload the document into here, so you've got the exemption letter right here too.
Right.
Think how easy it'd be to do a sales tax audit with this.
Yep.
There you go. It's all right there. Okay. So that is what Microsoft Lists is. Now let's go in and actually create one. So once again, I said you just come into Microsoft 365, click the app launcher, go to Microsoft Lists. Okay, we can come in. I can go to some recent lists that I've created, some of my favorite lists across the top here, or I can go and add a new one, which is right here, plus add list. Here, I can add a blank list from Excel or an existing list, or I can come in and pick one of the templates. And I would strongly recommend you go in there and just click some of these templates and just take a look at them, because it gives you some really cool ideas.
Well, let's look at the content scheduler.
Okay. So if you click the content scheduler, there's the title of it, there's a description, there's the author, there's the status, there's the due date draft by, the published date by, the content type, the content image, the published link, and the content files all right there.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
I mean, it pretty much tells you everything you need to know and how you're managing all the content for whether it's a seminar, webinar, or your annual event. But it's all right there. And this is just the generic one where if you click this in, it'll start with this. But if you want to add more stuff, you can.
Right.
So could you imagine if you had every piece of content, every video, every webinar, everything you've ever done all right here, how easy it would be able to come in and access all of that?
Right.
Because where's that information now?
Well, with any luck, it's written down in previous calendars, which were paper for years and years and years, and they've probably all been thrown away.
Yeah.
So all that information's gone.
Yeah, but think of how cool this would be to come in here and say, you know what, show me all stuff on this. Boom, there you go.
No, I think it's cool. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, this is it's limited to your imagination. It's really, really a super simple yet powerful tool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to see anything else?
The work progress tracker.
Okay, the work progress tracker, the work item, the description, the category of it, the progress, the priority, start date, due date, and who it's assigned to, and notes.
Right.
You got travel requests. The trip title, the reason for the travel, who's requested by, destination, start date, end date, duration, the airline, estimated value, hotel. I mean, if you've got people traveling, this is an easy way to keep track of it.
Right.
Okay. So let's go to new list, blank list. This right here is going to be our client tracker MSA. Yep. And we'll pick this, and we'll pick the list right there, and I'm going to just throw it into my lists. Okay, here's the one thing. Once you've got the name, the description, the color, and the icon, where are you going to save this? This is the one thing that's kind of tricky. We can always move it later, but you want to get in the right spot first. If you say my lists, that's going to save it in your personal OneDrive, which means you're going to share it with everybody that is going to be shared to.
Okay.
So if this is a company-wide list, you're not going to want to save it in my lists.
Right.
What happens, when you leave? It's stuck kind of in that employee's bin, right? So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go and put it on the team. So for example, if this is a client, list, we're going to want to put it in our, for example, in our bookkeeping. If this client list is for our bookkeeping team, we're going to want to come in and put it in the bookkeeping team.
Okay.
Remember that floor. Okay. So what floor is it going to go on? Well, I want it to go on the bookkeeping floor because this is how we're going to track all our bookkeeping clients.
Okay.
Okay. So let's just go ahead and put it right inside there because my list doesn't make sense. So this list is now going to be available. So we're adding that list to the floor, the bookkeeping floor. So anybody who has access to the bookkeeping floor can access this list automatically.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll hit create.
Well, what if I don't want everybody to have access to it?
Well, if you didn't, then at that point in time, you could put it in my drive and then just dole out access. And you could share.
So once you put it in the shared drive, it's available to everybody.
Remember, the shared drive is by team. So if whatever floor you put it on, it's going to show up for the people that can access that floor. Okay. Because really, if you think about it, I'm going to want all the big people on the bookkeeping floor to see this list anyway.
Sure. Okay.
Yep. And if I had a list that was more for management, well, that's going to go on the management floor or management team.
Okay. Gotcha.
If there's one that I really, I only want 2 or 3 different people that, if there's not a floor that really matches those people, then maybe I put it in mine and then share it one at a time.
Okay.
So it basically comes in here just like an Excel. It's kind of like just a blank Excel with no columns. The first column right here is kind of like the key, where this first thing has to be unique for every record. This first record has to be a unique record. You know what I'm saying? So it's got to be different. Okay. So by default, it comes in as title. But here, what are we tracking? We're tracking clients, right?
Right.
So we're going to want to go in here and rename this. Rename this to clients. Hit save. So now this row right here is called client. So this is where we're going to go in and enter the client name. Now let's go add a column. What type of information do we want to track about our bookkeeping clients?
What kind of bookkeeping work do we do for them? Quarterly, monthly?
Okay, so maybe something like, okay, so basically the frequency of, okay, so bookkeeping type. So let's come down and do a choice. Okay, so type of bookkeeping. And so basically we do after the fact,
right,
full service. Okay, so, basically after the fact, full service, or just cleanup, right?
Right.
Those to me are really the three. Can you think of any other ones? After the fact, full service, and cleanup. Okay, nope. I'm gonna put those three in there for now. If we want to add one more later, guess what? We can always add more later.
Okay.
Okay. So then we've got type of bookkeeping. Type is a unique thing. We can't use that. So now we've got type of bookkeeping. Now, what about frequency? How often are we going to be giving them? How often are we going to be looking at it? Is it monthly, quarterly, annually? Right. So now we can come in, do a choice again. We can come in here and say frequency, right? Choice would be monthly, quarterly, or annual, right?
Right.
And then I think that's pretty much it. And hit save. So now we've got bookkeeping type and frequency. What else?
How much we bill per month?
Billing amounts. Okay, so that's not going to be a drop down. So that one, we are going to come in and we're going to want probably a currency, right?
Right.
So here we're going to want a currency. So billing. Okay. What else do we might want? Payroll, like what payroll? How are they doing? How are we doing payroll?
Right.
So maybe QBO, Gusto,
ADP.
NA, pardon?
ADP.
ADP, there you go. Or we can come in and let them add manually. We can come down here and let the users add it manually. We've got to be careful with that so we don't get too crazy, because then we may have the same thing multiple times.
Right.
But in here, we can always come in here and then maybe add something called other.
Okay.
If it doesn't fit this, it gives them a place to put something and go in there. So now we can basically track how are we doing payroll. Okay. Are we doing 1099s? So once again, I'm going to do a choice, 1099s. Okay, so yes. NA, maybe NA meaning they never do 1040s, or maybe the client does them.
Okay.
Right? So those maybe be the three different options of that right there. But essentially what we're going to be able to do is go through, put the customer in, and then track anything that we want. So if I want to go in there, like for example, I can't tell you how many times before we had something like this, I said, all I want to do is get a list of every S Corp that has shareholder health insurance so I can send them a letter in December reminding them to add it to their payroll, right?
Right.
I mean, I can't tell you how much time we wasted in January adding that after the fact.
Yep.
I was every year I'm like, just give me a list, and nobody could ever give me a list because we had nothing like this. Okay. So right in here, shareholder health insurance, shareholder, health, right? Yes, no, whatever, right? Right. Maybe tax type, partner.
I was going to say,
staff.
I want some information that would be in another list. I want their client phone number in here as well, so that when I'm looking at the bookkeeping thing, if I need to pick up the phone and call them,
yep,
it's there. But that needs to be imported from another list.
Well, we can either connect the lists. We can actually, there is something that you're getting a little bit advanced there, Bill. But yes, that's actually we can actually go there and do a lookup list between the two different lists if we have that information in another list, or we can just add it here. If it's just a quick phone number, we can just add that here.
Okay.
Okay. But either way, though.
Well, where's he going to get it from? Where's he getting this information from?
Well, what you're going to do is you're going to have to go through, and here's where, if it's in Excel, you can kind of, copy this stuff in and drop it into here. But probably what you're going to do here is come in here and just kind of come in and type in and just kind of fill it out like this.
Okay.
Okay. So basically kind of come in here and you can either come in, have this in Excel and upload it. So if you already have this information in Excel, you can upload it and go from there, or manually enter it in after the fact.
Okay.
Okay. So chances are it may be easier to, kind of create all of your stuff in Excel and then use the file Excel upload the stuff, and then kind of title the things across the top here. But essentially, that's essentially what you're going to do. Okay.
Okay.
You're going to come in, probably start in Excel, get everything in Excel, get all of your information in Excel exactly the way you want it. And then when you come into a new list, then you're going to come up underneath here, do new list, and then import the Excel. And if you actually go back and look at the previous Microsoft lists, I actually show you how to do that on that one. Okay. But that right there is, it's pretty simple, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's just really, and then you can add another column at any time that you want. You can come in there, change any status that you want. You can filter on these things, like right in here. There you go. Just change the statuses, group, filter, do whatever you want. But once the information's in one spot, it's there and you can access it and go from there. And it's just utterly amazing at how simple and easy and how many, and if you want to export this to Excel, you can come in here, export it to Excel, and now you've got it in Excel. Okay, just like that.
Wow.
Okay. So that's Microsoft Lists. So now, one last thing I want to kind of talk about, because we only got a couple more minutes. I want everybody here to think about what you're doing. I realize tax season just ended. Okay. And tax season was hard and you're tired. But today's the day that I want you to start thinking about what you're going to do and focus on for the rest of the year. What are you going to do to make 2023 better and beyond? Because we've been working too hard. I've been following the tax. I don't know if you go to tax Twitter. There's a tax Twitter hashtag. Holy moly. Okay. People are just, it's unbelievable how tiring tax season is. It's just getting worse and worse and worse with the expectations of the clients and the changes in the laws and people waiting to the last minute and all this other stuff. You need to sit there and figure out how you're going to work smarter, not harder, because we're working hard enough. So it's how we're going to figure and work smarter. So as you're thinking about technology going forward, you got limited time, limited money, limited energy, and limited change capacity. You can only change so much. So with your technology roadmap, cost is important, ease of learning is important, the impact on your internal businesses. But to me, the one thing that I've always, whenever I've looked at technology, can I resell the knowledge in my head and not make it just a cost, but can I turn it into a revenue?
Right.
There's a lot
of great. There's going to be another pot of gold sitting out there for you.
That's exactly right. And to me, the best analogy right here is, 15 years ago, QuickBooks was awesome. QuickBooks Consulting was awesome. Okay. Everybody had QuickBooks or could afford it. No clients knew how to, no client had it set up right. Everybody needed help. And there was no competition. There was very, very little competition 15 years ago in QuickBooks Consulting from the peers or online training. It was like the California gold rush before everybody came in. You could just walk around and just find gold laying around. I had accountants sending me people because they didn't know QuickBooks. It was great. Right now, I truly believe that the Microsoft 365 gold rush is now beginning. Just think about it. Everybody has 365 or can easily get it and afford it. Nobody knows how to use it. And nobody is out there telling people how to use it. So if your accounting firm learns it, masters it, you now have a brand new revenue stream that you can go to your current clients and start consulting there with something brand new. And then 2, once you've done that, you can go out to new clients and say, because right now, how hard is it to go to somebody and say, hey, I'm an accountant. What about your taxes and I can help you with taxes and bookkeeping. Most people already have that done, right?
Yep.
What are you offering them that's different?
Not a thing.
What if I came in and said, Bill, hey, are you using 365? Yeah. Are you using it well? No.
No.
Would you like some help?
Sure.
Okay, so I get into your firm as 365 expert, right? What do you think I'm going to be able to do with the QuickBooks and the tax return? I'm going to be able to push that account out the door.
Yep.
It gets my foot in the door. And once I'm in there, I show them all the other stuff that I do and how I'm better than their accountant. And then I'm like, yeah, I can't really help with 365. I'm really only doing this with my clients. So if you want my 365 help, I need this and this. And guess what? They're going to jump ship.
Absolutely.
So it's a way to get your foot in the door.
Yep.
So here's all the stuff you basically 365 can offer you. It's got all the Office apps: Excel, OneNote, Outlook, PowerPoint, Word, Calendar, and Contacts. It's got all the storage. Okay. It's basically got all the storage. It's got OneDrive and SharePoint. You can get rid of Dropbox. You can get rid of online storage. Okay. And save money by getting rid of these, right? You've got communication. You can get rid of Slack, okay, and replace it with Teams. You can get rid of Zoom and replace it with Teams. Kazala is just a poor man's version of Teams for people out in the field. So if you've got people out in the field or volunteers, Kazala is just kind of a lighter version of Teams, okay? You've got tasks, to-do, planner, and project, which actually costs a little bit of extra. But look at all this other stuff. You've got bookings, which can replace Calendly. You've got forms, which is like Microsoft Online Forms. You've got lists, what we just talked about as a flat database. We've got Microsoft Stream, which is like YouTube videos. So you can actually go in there, record training videos or your meeting videos and save them so you can rewatch them. You've got Microsoft Sway, which is like a mini website. You got Visio, which is flow charting. You can actually do free flow charting inside 365 right now. And you've got Microsoft Whiteboard. And then you've got the Power apps right here, Power BI.
What is Whiteboard?
Whiteboard is just like, it's a virtual whiteboard. You can go in there and draw on it and do whatever you want to have multiple people. It's a virtual whiteboard.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. And then you've got the Power tools, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI. Power Apps and Power BI are way up there, but Power Automate, you can set Power Automate up within SharePoint that says, if this file gets changed, alert me. If a file gets added into this folder, alert me. So it's kind of like Zapier. So it's Microsoft's version of Zapier right there. And one last thing I want to kind of show you real quick, because we're a little bit overboard, but with Microsoft Sway, this is actually really cool. Here's some really cool examples of what Microsoft Sway is. This right here, I was teaching a class and at a local college, and they went into a nonprofit, and this right here was their PDF that they gave to all their people there. It's kind of like a Ronald McDonald House. And all this information in a PDF. So what they did was they just took the information from the PDF, put it into this Microsoft list right here, put a QR code that linked to this thing right here. People could bring their phone up, do this, and they would see this right here.
Oh, wow.
And he did this in the afternoon. What if you're a realtor? This right here, video, pictures. Does this look like, if you're a realtor, does this look like a pretty cool website?
Yep.
To promote a house?
Absolutely.
This is Microsoft Sway. This is very, very simple to do. Any one of you could create this in the matter of a half an hour. Okay. Wow. And then there's all these different use cases. There's event brochures. You could have event brochures, but it's all this stuff just basically gone through. It's utterly amazing. Sway is kind of is a gem in Microsoft that's basically really underutilized. But that right there, though, is, where can I unshare my screen here? Okay, I don't know how to unshare my screen here. Stop sharing. There we go. But yeah, but basically, think about what you're going to do in 2022. In my opinion, learn the tools you're already paying for. Save money by replacing the tools that you're paying for by tools you already have. Right. Once you learn the tools, start teaching your clients and start making money and building better relationships. And then go out and start getting new business because you get your foot in the door. So win, win, win.
Absolutely. Well, Rob, thank you very much for joining us today. I know I'm looking forward to using List so that we can get some things automated here in the office.
Sounds great.
Sounds great.
Bill, you have a good day. See you in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Take care. Bye.
Bye.